There is a quiet room in Kyoto where morning light rests gently on a plain wooden table. A young woman sits in absolute stillness and writes a few words into a paper notebook. She does not tap a glowing screen or receive aggressive notifications about her spending limits. Her nervous system is at peace because her finances are a quiet ritual instead of a terrifying exam. Somewhere else, a person stands under blinding lights and stares at a budgeting app with absolute dread. They see complex charts and flashing warnings that create a heavy weight of personal failure. What if this profound difference has nothing to do with your income or natural discipline? Today you will learn how modern tools destroy your peace and how an old Japanese habit cures impulse spending. Before revealing this invisible solution, we must discuss a poisonous idea planted in your tired mind. Tell me in the comments how many times you downloaded a budgeting app only to abandon it because it made you feel sick. We are told that failing to maintain a perfect digital spreadsheet makes us completely irresponsible. But your financial anxiety and constant relapse into impulse buying is absolutely not your fault. It is the direct consequence of a Western system that turns spending into a cold and terrifying mathematical equation. Tracking your life on a screen quietly turns your resources into invisible pixels and removes the psychological weight of your actions. You think you are gaining control by syncing your bank accounts to an artificial intelligence. In reality, you are outsourcing your consciousness to a machine that only knows how to shame your desires. This digital surveillance acts as a heavy physical weight on your nervous system. It keeps your fight or flight response perpetually engaged every time you pull out your plastic card. This is only the first domino in understanding how to reclaim your hijacked financial peace. The answer does not lie in downloading a stricter application or punishing yourself with extreme frugality. The Japanese philosophy offers a profoundly different approach through a method called Kakeibo. This translates simply to a traditional household financial ledger. Kakeibo teaches us that you do not need an economics degree or a digital dashboard to find peace. You simply need to cultivate a quiet and honest conversation with yourself. Western budgeting relies on strict restrictions and painful deprivation. This Japanese philosophy encourages a gentle and almost unnoticeable restructuring of your daily awareness. The core principle of essentialism reminds us that adding complex systems never cures chaos. True financial liberation comes from the quiet act of subtraction. You must systematically throw away the digital trackers and delete the demanding applications. Return to the absolute basics of a simple pen and a piece of paper. Modern payment methods are meticulously designed to remove all friction from the act of spending. One-tap digital wallets make it incredibly easy to purchase something before your rational brain can process it. Your smartphone uses this exact psychology to keep your dopamine receptors constantly inflamed. The most immediate way to dismantle this trap is to quietly reintroduce tactile friction into your life. You achieve this by forcing yourself to physically write down your spending intentions. Pressing a pen against paper forces your speeding brain to slow down and match your hand. It is incredible how quickly the heavy urge to impulse buy dissipates. This happens when you know you must sit in silence later and physically write that useless item in your ledger. You will quietly notice a shift in how you treat your purchases. You will see them not as fleeting digital moments, but as physical objects crossing the threshold of your awareness. Something else happens that almost no one talks about regarding the overwhelming burden of modern consumerism. We have developed a terrifying intolerance to the feeling of having enough. We constantly believe that our lives are defined by a severe scarcity. We falsely think this scarcity can only be cured by acquiring more things. Traditional Japanese aesthetics hold a vital understanding that space and emptiness are incredibly valuable. Bringing a new object into your home always requires an energetic sacrifice. A beautiful room requires empty space to breathe. Your mind, similarly, requires the quiet space of financial security to regulate your daily emotions. Tapping your phone to buy a random gadget actively destroys that precious negative space. You are trading your long-term peace for a 3-second rush of cheap dopamine. This relentless destruction of your financial emptiness creates that suffocating anxiety at the end of the month. Your mind is never given a single moment to quietly rest in the feeling of abundance. If this realization has already lifted the heavy burden of guilt regarding your money, subscribe to this channel. We will continue to dismantle these toxic modern systems together and rebuild a life of deep intention. To truly embrace the magic of Kakeibo, you must transform your relationship with spending. It must shift from a chaotic reflex into a quiet ritual guided by 4 invisible questions. These are not mathematical formulas designed to restrict your joy. They are gentle, philosophical inquiries that protect your energy from the noise of the world. The first question you must ask yourself in silence before any purchase is simple. Can I actually live without this item? The Western marketing machine spends billions of dollars to convince you otherwise. They want you to believe every new product is an absolute necessity for your survival and happiness. Pausing to quietly ask this question separates biological truth from artificial cravings. You will almost always find that you can easily survive without the item. This immediately removes the false sense of urgency. It gives you the quiet power to walk away with a completely light heart. We must also address the second question, which requires radical but gentle honesty. Based on my actual financial situation right now, can I truly afford this without causing future stress? This question does not shame you or call you poor. It simply measures the fleeting joy of the object against the heavy burden of future anxiety. Acknowledging your boundaries without guilt instantly protects your nervous system from the invisible assault of debt. You allow yourself to feel safe and secure in whatever amount you currently possess. As you gently practice this method, you will encounter the third question. Will I actually use this, or am I buying it for a fantasy version of myself that does not exist? We often buy expensive running shoes for the athlete we wish to be. We confuse the purchase of a tool with the actual acquisition of a skill. These aspirational purchases become physical monuments to our unfulfilled goals. They quietly radiate guilt from the back of our closets every time we look at them. Kakeibo teaches that true fulfillment only happens when you are entirely present in your current reality. Letting go of the fantasy purchase allows you to give your quiet attention to the life you are actually living. This leads us to the fourth and final question about the physical harmony of your living space. Do I have the space for this in my home? And what is the emotional cost of maintaining it? The modern world demands that we fill every corner of our apartments with decorative clutter. We ignore the fact that every single object demands a fraction of our mental energy to clean and store. This fractured state of constant spatial management makes you feel like you are suffocating. Kakeibo teaches you that protecting the quiet emptiness of your room is incredibly valuable. You can introduce a tiny amount of intentional delay into your relationship with money. Enforcing a 24-hour waiting period for any unplanned purchase transforms a mindless reflex into a conscious decision. That brief period of friction is often just enough time for your rational brain to catch up. It acts as an invisible barrier that gently guides you back to the present moment. Healing a mind chronically stressed by modern consumerism does not happen through punishing budgeting diets. You are now the undisputed master of your own resources, resting in a peaceful mind that belongs entirely to you.